Before you start adventuring around Night City, you should get up to speed with these Cyberpunk 2077 tips. There are plenty of things to do in V's world, but with so much thrown at you at once, it can become a bit daunting. Do you start completing story missions, explore the world, focus on the clustered icons and side objectives, or something else? No matter what your plan is when you step into Night City, our tips are a must before you start playing. Whether you want to start the game as a wandering nomad, rebellious street kid, or a law-abiding corpo, you can be safe in the knowledge that it doesn't actually affect much at all. Throughout the game, you'll have different dialogue options related to the choice you went for, and the short intro to the game will be different, but aside from that, it doesn't really affect it. Missions and storylines can still have the same outcome no matter which life path you go for, so don't ponder over it for too long because there's no wrong choice. Tapping your scanner will reveal boatloads of things to pick up. No matter where you are in Night City, a lot of it will be classed as junk, but you'll also find some decent weapons, gear, health items, and more. You'll want to pick up everything you can because you can either sell it to vendor machines throughout the map, or disassemble it for parts if you fancy doing some crafting. Everything is worth something, even if it's just a few eddies. There are a staggering amount of different food and drink items available in the game. From tacos and chocolate bars to coffee and energy drinks, but most of them have the same effect. All food items will give you the nourishment status, which increases max health by 5% and regen by 0.5% per second outside of combat, while drinks provide the hydration status, which increases max stamina by 10% and regen by 50% per second. The only divergence from this rule of thumb is with alcoholic drinks. Those will have the following negative effects: reduce movement speed by 10%, reduce weapon accuracy by 50%. Anyone fancy a perma-drunk Cyberpunk 2077 run? No spoilers, obviously, but I'd strongly recommend taking your time with the main story. There's one storyline that is considered to be the main one, relating to V and Johnny Silverhand, but it would be smart to complete plenty of side missions and exploration first. For one, just doing main missions won't level you up enough to get some of the super cool perks and weapons. So your main playthrough will be a bit boring, as you only have access to limited tools. Exploring the other avenues available to you first will also open up some alternate endings to the game, so give that a go first too. And you'll know you're at the final mission because the game will tell you you've hit the point of no return. You might find yourself running low on the old eddies in Cyberpunk 2077 because buying the best weapons and upgrades isn't cheap. You'll receive eddies as you go along for completing various missions, but if you find yourself in desperate need, focus on some of the gigs and NCPD icons around the map. There are plenty to be found and they pay handsomely if you need some money. There are 3 categories when it comes to your abilities in-game. Attributes are the 5 sections: body, reflexes, etc. Seen when you initially click on the character menu. You can increase these by spending attribute points whenever you get them. Just hover over the attributes and it will bring up your skills. For example, street brawling, stealth, and athletics. You level these up by doing the specific thing. Sneak up behind enemies and dump their bodies in dumpsters to level up stealth. Sprint and jump around for athletics, and you get the gist. Finally, perks are similar to attributes in that they can only be leveled up with points, but you'll receive more of them throughout your time with the game than you will with attribute points. A lot of perks also require you to get a specific skill to a high enough level before you can get it. It sounds confusing, but makes more sense when you look at it. Every now and then you'll stumble upon a door or gate that can't be opened easily. If you want to have free roam everywhere possible in Night City, then you'll want to level up both the body and technical ability attributes, because these are the 2 methods of getting through these doors. The former allows you to tear gates literally off their hinges and throw them to one side, which somehow doesn't alert nearby enemies, while the latter means you can get through more standard locked doors. Of course, this is only relevant to doors with skill checks. Doors that appear red and locked when you try to interact with them are just inaccessible. You meet Victor during the prologue, but there are plenty of Ripper docs to be found throughout Night City. These are the people you need to visit if you want to upgrade your cyberware. During the early game, a lot of these upgrades will be out of reach thanks to an insufficient level of lack of cash or street cred, but pay them frequent visits to see what useful additions you can buy. Pretty much anything you can wear or use comes with mod slots, especially if it's a higher quality. These come with all sorts of buffs, things like extra carry capacity on armor and increased damage to guns are just 2 examples. Make sure you put your best mods on your favourite equipment though, because if you want to replace a mod later down the line, the original one will be destroyed. You can get crafting specs for mods as well, so if you have a favourite, you can make as many as you want.